Just at the corner of De Beer and Judas Street resides what was known as Milner Park Hotel, beautifully lit by the TV on Brom Square. Upon entry, you're met with a beautiful laid-out red carpet on the floor. I swear everybody who comes in here is meant to feel like a VIP guest. And what immediately captures you is the overhead digital board written, Kitcheners. You're met with beautiful pot plants on the short flights of stairs, and attached on the side is a pretty dope outdoor setup. Walking in, you step onto the wooden floor, enhanced by the beautifully brown pattern, vintage wallpapers, and the wooden chairs with wooden tables. Your gaze immediately takes you to the bar with the lined bar stools, where you see the various alcoholic beverages. Looking up the ceiling, you're glorified by this antique-like chandelier that's also accompanied by the 4 corner mid-lit lights and engulfed by the strong nicotine tobacco stench. Kitcheners is a 2-part venue. The wooden interior and the wallpaper extends towards the second room of the venue, which is separated by the open stage curtain, allowing the view of the DJ booth in the corner and the 2 connected speakers on the upper right, and the vivid mural of prominent successful individuals. Walking inside, you get the full view of the area. The left side of the room is cushioned with red vintage couches supported by wooden hems, and situated in the middle of the room are black chairs where the audience will be sitting and watching the comedy show from.
Hands together for the one and only Mr. So. With this, guys, I just want you to go easy on me. This is my first time, and that's what she said.
All right, we're sitting here with a comedian who no longer needs an introduction. Hello, Mr. Bongani Dube.
Hey, what's up? You're right.
I'm super great. What a hot session.
Well, that was a hard one. That was a difficult one. Sometimes it be like that, though. Other times it's amazing. Yeah.
All right, so you've been nominated for Savannah Choice Comic Award. You've been part of the national-wide tour with Trevor Noah. That must have been an experience.
Yeah, it was dope. No, it was amazing. A couple of years ago, we did our thing. Money spent. And now we're just out here just trying to do something new, something bigger, as we say.
Lovely, I like that. And you also did a one-man South African tour, Up and Up. How did that go?
It could have been better. I needed a bigger team. You know, I needed like some people to come help me with certain things, because you can only do so much by yourself. But like, you know, when you have a good team, bigger things can happen. So yeah, now I learned. So it was more of a learning experience than anything else. Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, you deal with different people all the time. You work with different crowds. I think one of the most things I'm most curious about is which crowd has been hard to, I guess, tickle or give a great joke to, not receiving you in the way that you perhaps expected them to.
Tonight's crowd was trash. Tonight's crowd was horrible. And you guys were there. I don't know, guys were not laughing out loud. No, the thing is, drunk crowds are the worst. Like when people are drunk, it becomes very difficult.
All right, so I really can imagine how it is, you know, for a man like you to, or anyone altogether, you know, anyone who does comedy nights or stand-up comedy in general. I mean, it's a hectic job because you're dealing with people. I think in every kind of job you deal with people, you know. So I'm just curious. Just tell me about how long New Material Nights have been, you know, existed and taking place and happening. Just tell me about that.
Yeah. New Material Nights has been going on, I think, for as long as comedy's been running in South Africa, right? Especially with the new wave that started around about 2005-ish. So there will always be a New Material Night somewhere, because comedians need to come out, do new material, get the material right on proper form, so when they go to a paying gig, a bigger gig, they know they have the stuff that's needed to make the show amazing. So it's been running. And then Kitcheners tonight has been running, give or take, about 10 years. Yeah, it started off with Robbie Collins and them, big guys in the game right now. And then so every other year, if not 4 years or so, they pass the mantle to the next guy who can take care of the place. So I've been taking care of Kitcheners for almost a year now. Yeah, and it's been good.
Oh, that's quite lovely. So you've been hosting comedy nights for a year?
Yeah, right here in Kitcheners, I've been hosting it for a year.
Oh, interesting. So I'm just curious. So this year is like your second year?
No, this is not I got it this year. So this is the year that I have it. So we're gonna run it. We'll see how far we can take it, because also my DJ, he just started DJing, and I'm like, okay, cool, you know what? It's also helping him to get the practice. You know what I mean? To become a comedy DJ as well, because it's a whole different vibe being a comedy DJ as compared to just being a normal DJ. You know what I mean? So comedy DJ, you gotta be able to play with the crowd, have that little wit that's needed during a comedy show for those and what have you, yeah.
Okay, and how's the reception been? Like, are you drawing people in? Are they coming? How are they receiving you?
Oh, okay, no, it's the thing about Braamfontein is that it's a lot of students around here, right? And parking is horrible. So people don't really want to drive out here. We've had a comedy show at Bannister Hotel underneath. There's a little theater there, but it never held on. Out of the fact that parking here is horrible, and we know students ain't got no money, so you know what I mean? So now and then we'll have an amazing night, and then other nights we'll have a night where there's like 3 people. Yeah, it's tricky, but we'll make it work. Yeah.
I mean, you got to make it work. And I know that many comedians, especially who come from very, I don't want to say impoverished backgrounds, but where they, I guess, entertain small crowds. I just want to touch on the finance issue. Like, do you get paid for this? Is it getting you money in your pockets? Is it fruitful? Is it bringing you any sort of income?
Look, when it comes to the small gigs, it's not for money. You know what I mean? It's just a practice. You got to keep practicing so that when the money comes, it's going to be good money. Because the last thing that people want when they're paying you is for you to be horrible. So you got to keep coming out of these things. And there was a good time in comedy where things were going well. I think just when Trevor left, comedy was doing very well, and everybody was getting bookings left, right, and center, because they'll be looking for comedians, and there were agents that were like very prominent within the comedy industry. And now things have slowed down ever since COVID. So most of us are just running off momentum, like myself, and also, you know, I act, so that helps. Yeah, that helps a lot.
So how long have you been doing comedy for?
I'm pushing on, I think, my 10th year. I'll be on my 10th year. I think probably next year. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been in the industry.
I've been in the game, yeah.
I mean, your accolades speak for you.
I mean, they do talk.
Yes, and it's something that I really appreciate. So just to touch on the history of, you know, the Kitcheners, which we all know is a very old bar, you know, from the 1960s, and it was apparently called, you know, the second oldest bar in Johannesburg, right? And it was named after Lord Kitchener, who actually signed the treaty between the Anglo and the Afrikaners following the Anglo-Boer War. Right, so I just want to know that whilst Braamfontein itself makes so much sense as a space for comedy nights because it offers you such, you know, diversity of audience, why is Kitchener specifically for the testing ground for your kind of comedy? What basically makes it a conducive home for you to have your comedy nights?
Okay. So before this year, Kitchener's was much more spacious. So that little area that we were in now works very well as a theater of sort. We could close the door, there was not a lot of traffic, so everybody would come in, and then the fact that it's so small makes it very intimate. So we'll have like a lot of people coming in there, like we'll pack it out like about 20, 30 people or so, and the energy was amazing. So now that it's been through renovations, there's been a lot of people not coming through. They're like, oh man, it's now different, it's weird. It's just full of old people who just want to get drunk. So now it has changed. It has changed drastically, and I'm trying to find a way to have more young people come through, and we're just trying to push people to come and be like, I don't know, man, we're trying to bring a spirit of like, guys, you can come through and get drunk and have a good time and watch some good comedy on a Tuesday and party for the rest of the week. But times have changed, man. People are broke. People are broke.
That's true. Yeah. That's actually true. But I'm also curious on how you view comedy as, a career. Is it something that you would encourage, young people to invest in? Have you seen comedy change people's lives? Well, I mean, there's so many people like Trevor Noah, I mean, there are lots, yes, Will Skumba, and all of them. But I just want to, from your perspective, looking at where we are right now in this new age, do you think comedy will take young people or aspiring comedians to where Trevor Noah are or where you are?
Honestly, if I started comedy this year, man, I would have quit long time ago. No, right now it's at a weird place. Like it's full of potential, which is great, right? But then I think it's at a place where we need to reinvent it, find a way to have more people coming through the shows, or just change venues. That's what it really is, right? And have different kinds of people to come through and build a comedy culture. In Joburg, the comedy culture is a little different, because there's one place in Melville, there's a place called Sips. There, the energy is nice. There are students there, but the energy works there. And now in Braamfontein, it has switched up due to the fact that, it can be quite a dangerous venue. And you get places like Shakers all the way in Maboneng, where everybody lives around there. So it's already a party culture, so people can go in there. But the difference between there and where we are now is that place is it's a lot more vernac conducive than it is English speaking, depending who's gonna be on the lineup. So this comedy thing, your first year is gonna be horrible, your second year is gonna be horrible. By your third year, good things can start happening. Yeah, so it's a long game. You can't rush this thing, it's a long game. You just have to have the wit, you gotta have the krach, as they say, the liver. You know what I mean? To be like, I'm gonna keep coming back. Even though it's difficult, I'm gonna keep coming back. Something bites.
Actually, on that note, I just wanted to, because, different comedians use different techniques when it comes to their jokes. Others use members, from the crowd, and others come with their own notes. I mean, if I'm not in the crowd, or if she was not in the crowd, or whomsoever, what we're going to use, So where is the creative process? Does it come immediately in there when you see your audience, or is it something you prepare for? Because some come with their own jokes, Like I saw a lot of that today, but I just want to know, how do you work? Do you diversify or? Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm very diverse with my style. A lot of my jokes are written on stage. You know what I mean? Because for me, comedy works well with the energy that we all cook up together. So if you guys are low, I'm gonna come through chill, and I'm gonna try cook it up, make it amazing. And in that, new material start cooking up in my head, and I can take that and go put it on the bigger stage. And I've always been like that. Other cats, I don't recommend it for everybody, but it's a technique and a skill that you also need to hone. It's called crowd work. Being able to deal with the crowd that may not be listening, get them to listen so you can start delivering your conceptual stuff. Because sometimes your conceptual stuff needs more time to really build up, because people are not, like getting people's attention, that's the tricky part. And that you hone it via crowd work. Yeah. That's how I understand it. But everybody's got different styles, and that's what's so beautiful and diverse about comedy, is that everybody can do whatever they're trying to do. They can be theatrical, they can be very chill, they can be like one-liners, they can be storytellers, they can be crowd guys, they can be obscene. You'll always find a crowd member that likes that stuff. So it's always about, I'm trying to work with you guys. I'm trying to solicit you guys to understand where I'm coming from, and then we take it from there and make it work. Yeah.
This nigga was game way too strong. Let's ask other people. SJ, you got Riz, right? Riz.
Yes.
Riz. All right, that's it.
Yes.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right. Oh, that's the truth right there. Oh, that's the truth right there. What's your real style? You walk up like, yo, what up, man? You know what time it is. You check me out, shade this here, dripping drapes. Holla at your boy. How do you do? What's your vibe? Are you an honest RZA, or you use punchlines and pickup lines? We want to hear from you, sisters.
Honesty, probably.
You use honesty?
Probably, yeah.
Is it? I feel like honesty works when it's a woman on a woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. As a man, honesty doesn't work. No, it does not. I tell you this, ladies, you don't want to know what men are thinking. No. If we come at you with honesty, woo-wee, the world population will drop drastically, right? Like, oh, ladies, if you guys want to get into our head and find out what we're thinking when we're talking to you, oh my God. Oh my God.
Hey, Ray.
How are you guys doing?
We're super great. It was lovely watching you today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys coming out.
Okay, I just want to ask, as new age comedian, just tell me generally how your journey has been as a comedian, as a new age comedian, and how do you appeal to the audience, the young people?
Yeah, I think it's been good. I've done this for about 7 months now. It's been good. It's expensive.
That's pretty new.
Yeah, it's pretty new. It's pretty new. I might be going on my 8th now, but I mean, like when Bongani says he's going on his 10th, and I say I'm going on my 8th, it's very different.
That's true.
Very different packages. Yeah. It's expensive because you have to drive everywhere and do all that. Shows are very easy to find. You can find. I have a show nearly every night except Sunday, and I know where there is a show, but that show is like I think it's paid. And you can sort of get in, but I'm not like, I don't want to hop on and die because the show's at Bioscope, that's around here I think. So Bioscope is like a theatre where they do the shows. Oh. So it's easy to find shows, but it's obviously the paid shows, that's what you get invited to. You get called in and you get paid, so yeah, it's expensive. Yeah.
But you get a lot of those paid shows.
I don't get paid jobs. I basically do open mics right now. Because like your first 7 months you're not getting paid. It's like anything, your first, I don't know, some people say years, some people say 3 years. Sure. Yeah, so you just go do it.
But this is like I don't want to say struggling or industry or whatever, but we all know what it takes, especially in the startup, like you just said right now, that you might not even get paid, unless, of course, you get called in, right? So what led you to this particular industry, knowing very well that you will encounter this particular challenge? I mean, right?
I did drama in high school. I watched a lot of comedy shows growing up. I kind of always knew I wanted to do comedy, but never had the place to do it. Durban, comedy used to be huge in Durban. I used to go watch comedy shows at a place called Windsor Pub under Origin, which is like a club there. And Windsor closed down. And people, like, you'd have comedians like Bongani going and doing the open mic stuff back then in Durban. Okay. But by the time I got to Rhodes, there was comedians there. But I think I'm happy I started here, because even though it's a struggle, and even though there is that situation of like, it's hard to get to gigs, and sometimes you bomb. Sometimes you drive all that way to not do well, and you drive home and you're upset, So But I think that I can't do anything else now. Like once you've tried it and you get through your first month, and it becomes addictive to a certain extent as well. Yeah.
You just want to go again and again and again. But like, how has Kitcheners received you? Is this your first night performing here, or have you done it the past few months?
Now I've been bombing at Kitcheners for weeks, dog. Yeah. Yeah. So I had moments that popped. Maybe some of my jokes, I was like, in the beginning I died, and then I did well, and then someone got my joke really, really well, and then they kind of ruined my whole set. I'm bisexual, and I'm lucky I get to make jokes that other people can't and explore different avenues, because if I just word it right and I pay respects to the community, I can still make jokes like that. And this guy, everyone else was like, that's an interesting thought you had there. And then this guy was like, that is the best joke I have ever heard in my entire life. And yeah, he laughed for the last 3 minutes of my set. Okay. Sometimes, so like Kitcheners is weird. I can go 5 months, five shows, and just die for 5 shows. And then you come in and you just do something a little bit different. You tell the right jokes. Maybe it's a good audience that night, and then somehow you received really well, and you kill, like you do really good, and you're like, this is great, I'm gonna come back next week, and then you die again. So it's subjective. Even that's not just Kitcheners, it's every single comedy show that you go to. You can kill, and then you can die, and it's room dependent, it's crowd dependent, it's also dependent on you. Yeah, what you see on the night. how long, if you haven't been practicing and you come back and do your comedy set, sometimes you can bomb because you haven't been doing it enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that. And I I hope it really, you get it like one day, like Trevor Noah or something. Lovely.
Oh shit! No, we're going in. We're going in at the back there, Ben. Those are the podcast people. They here to record a podcast for us and stuff. Remember when we manifested this shit? We're like, yo, we're gonna start our own podcast, and the podcast people came to us, right? But they didn't come to us to have a good time with us. They came in because they wanna pass. They wanna pass. They're in school. Yeah, it's a school thing. It's got nothing to do with us, bro. They wanna delete this shit in 2 years. They're gonna forget about us. We will see us on the streets like, oh, you guys are still in the kitchen and six. I saw working with DJ Fresh.
Lovely. So, just to point this out, I'm actually standing with a beautiful couple, and you were laughing together today, right? And it was lovely. Okay, just overall, can you just tell me how your experience was today? And yet the Kitcheners, yeah.
I think overall the experience was pretty good. We had a good time. There was a lot of laughs. Just a lot of silences. There was a lot of laughs. It was a good experience.
Yeah, I also think it was fun. I liked how, although there were only a few people there, but I liked how everyone is like kind of part of the show. So that was, it was really nice. It was really homey, kind of. Yeah,
Okay.
very nice.
Oh, so you got a home feeling. Do you feel like that was created by the environment, many cushions, and the intimacy and the fact that it's an actually small space?
Yeah, I think the fact that it was a smaller space really helps everyone feel more comfortable, because I feel like everyone is kind of next to you, but not necessarily next to you. So it's like you're all together, but like separate at the same time. So it felt very comfortable.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was that the room of like the comedy show was right next to like the bar kind of, and I think the who was it, like the moderator of the show was like active, the host was like actively like trying to like get everyone like into the show, which I think is really nice, because that made it feel like it was kind of like a homey family kind of situation, because you got to know like everyone.
I'm glad you feel that way. How long have you guys been attending, comedy shows in general, but also like the Kitcheners?
Okay, so I've been here once before, but that was in like 2020, probably 2021. I don't know, I'm not sure. So this was the second time. First time since then.
This was my first time here specifically. We've been to a comedy show before, and it was bigger than this one was, but I feel like this one was more intimate, and like I feel like all the comedians kind of wanted to talk to the crowd and get to know the crowd. So I feel like this was like more fun because we got to interact. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. So this is the first comedy show you guys attended together. It's a great experience, but do you guys have like any highlights? Like what kept you, like what was the funniest?
Bongs was the funniest.
Okay.
Kept going. Yeah.
I don't think I have a highlight. Like I think it was just great in total.
I mean, you were referenced a lot also in the show. Please tell us about that. How did that make you feel? Was it intimidating?
Okay, I don't think it was intimidating. I think I don't necessarily like to be put on the spot that much. I think I've gotten to be better at that, and better be able to respond. Like also now, like in this situation, because I feel like, although we're only like a few people, everyone's looking at me, so that's a little uncomfortable. But I think I think it was okay. I mean, like I didn't feel uncomfortable. Like he didn't make it feel in any sort uncomfortable, so it was pretty fine.
And do you feel like the jokes were original? Did you feel like it was literally like something like worth cracking for?
I think it's a pretty good show. Like it's a good show. It's worthwhile. Yeah. And I had a good time, personally.
Yeah, I think I can only agree, to be honest. Yeah.
And would you recommend the Kitcheners comedy shows to anybody?
Yeah. Anyone who's listening. I would recommend the shows.
Speaking on the we already.
Yeah.
I would
Hey.
too. No, I would too. But honestly, we came back because I said like the last time I was here, even though it was like a couple of years ago, was great. So I was like, I was still literally following the same page on Instagram. I was like, let's go there. It's been so long, but I loved it so much. It was really great. So yeah, and I don't think I'm disappointed. Like I would do the same thing in 3 years' time again.
Lovely. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Caroline and lovely SJ, thank you so much for your time. Peace out. You've been listening to The Beauty of Braam, the Focus on Kitchener's Comedy Night, an episode of the We Should Be Writing podcast. This podcast is a product of the Honours in Journalism and Media Studies program at the Wits Centre for Journalism in Johannesburg. Our producer and executive producer was Utsile Swaratle. Our editor was Kimberly Kirsten, and our show host was Ayanda Mkwenya. Our theme music was composed by Aphelele Mpokoto, and our graphic design was by Terry Ann Browers. Additional episode music credits and info are available on our Anchor FM page. On all social media, we are at Wits Vuvuzela, and you can see more of our work on witsvuvuzela.com.